Welcome back to the vlog, and welcome back to Hoskins, Papua New Guinea again. My name is Ryan, and we're heading over to Gasmata again today. I was not able to get there yesterday because it was just heavy rains all day long, super low clouds, so I'm hoping that we can get in there this morning. It's been overcast, but I got a weather report saying that it's starting to break, so let's hope for the best. All right, igniter's on, low start. Fuel's on, over 14%, low idle. Right, NG's coming up over 27. A little bit slower of a start because it's been sitting here for a day. And 703. Right, generator on, prop forward, V2 on, alternator on, and aux bus. Yeah, so it was a little bit hotter of a start, even though this is the very first start of the day, because it sat here for an extra day and the battery was just a little bit lower than it normally is. Still within its margins, but it just took a little bit longer of a start. Let's get these lowers going. And no, I do not have AC. I wish I did. This plane actually came with AC from the factory, and then our organization took it out because it was like an extra 100 pounds of weight that we wouldn't be able to carry. So that's why we took it out. Alright, I don't think I'm going to be able to get a hold of Moresby this morning, but let's try. Moresby 6622 November Tango Zulu taxi.
November Tango Zulu, Moresby, go ahead.
Good morning, November Tango Zulu taxi Hoskins, Gasmata, 1 POB.
November Tango Zulu, what Moresby time check 2255.5, QNH 10099.
1009 November Tango Zulu. All stations Hoskins 127.1 November Tango Zulu. Taxiing Hoskins, Gasmata, below 5,000. All stations Hoskins. Alright, taxi light on and landing light. Right, nobody's coming from the east and nobody's coming from the west. I'll go ahead and start up my for takeoff checklist, fuel caps and selectors. I checked my caps before I climbed in. Controls are good. We'll leave TAWs enabled for now. Our switches and instruments. We'll go over at 5,000 feet. I'm empty today with 800 pounds of fuel, so I've got enough to go there and do lots of flying around, try to get down and come back. And still land here with an hour and a half of fuel. Alright, 5,400 pounds, so rotate is 5463 if we had to come back in for an emergency or anything else. Our radar on standby. That way the gimbals are warming up and it's holding the radar still, otherwise it's just sitting in there flopping around. Flaps are set, indicated at 20 and verified at 20. Front abort, trims are already set up. If we do need to stop, or if we're not 50 knots by the 1,500 foot marker, we'll full reverse, heavy braking, flaps up, cut off, pull off, and shut up if we're going off. And masters and crack my door in case the fuselage bends. After takeoff, we're going to pitch for 85. We're going to consider EPL immediately. If that doesn't work, I'm going to consider my feather. Full flaps 80 or 85, 20 degrees, leaving it like this. Cut off, pull off, and shut off. Masters, emergency, crack my door. And make a mayday call on 6622. All stations Hoskins, November Tango Zulu, departing runway 12 to the southwest. Actually to the south, all stations Hoskins. Right, strobes are on. It is 33 degrees Celsius this morning, but it is pretty warm in here though. It's 98 degrees in here. Oh, that's the problem. I had my defroster on. I was like, this is just not blowing strong enough. There we go. Alright, ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. Right, taxi is done. 30 degrees, sea level 1590, so 1540 for 1590. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. Alright, torque is set. There's 54, there's 1500 foot marker, and we are airborne, and there's a bird. Alright, we're just going to pitch for 85 knots, climbing out of here at 740 on the ITT. A little bit in the yellow right now. This plane feels like it's a little underpowered as opposed to November Tango Echo and Kilo both. Alright, once we're at a safer altitude, we're going to just nose over a bit. It gets our airspeed up. Once it's climbing over 85 knots, go 10 degrees of flaps. And then over 90 and still increasing up towards 100. Then we'll go 0 degrees of flaps and bring our prop back to 2000 RPM. Yeah, it looks like a really, really nice day out here. I think about 2/3 the way across the island. I mean, it's only 50 miles over there to Gasamada. It's forecasting it to be overcast, but we called and talked to some locals on the ground, and they said that it was breaking up. And they were seeing some blue, not a lot, some blue, and it was getting brighter. So I really need to get this flight done, because after this, I come back, get more passengers, and head all the way back to Goroka for the end of my day. My ITT back just down to 720. That's going to be my climbing ITT. And go ahead and call it Moresby again with our departure call. Moresby 6622 November Tango Zulu departure. Moresby 6622 November Tango Zulu departure.
November Tango Zulu must be better.
November Tango Zulu departed Hoskins, time 01. Tracking 178 on climb 5000, estimating Gasamada 22.
November Tango Zulu on climb 5000, standby.
November Tango Zulu. Alright, so if you're wondering what this big yellow thing here is, this is my friend George. He has a life raft. Hopefully I never have to call on him. But the reason I brought him, as well as my life vest underneath my seat today, is in case it is a full overcast there's really not a great way to be able to step down through an IFR descent. So the easiest way for me to do that is to do it over the ocean, because Gasamada is right on the ocean. So rather than, like, our lowest safe altitude along the coast is 3,000, I think 100 at the lowest. So that doesn't really give me that low. So over the ocean, I can get down to 1,200 feet. To be able to do that, I'd be outside of gliding distance. So that's why I'm bringing my life raft and my life vest, to give me my best possible option to be able to get down under this layer if it actually is cloudier than what it's, well, if it's as cloudy as it's forecasting, but hopefully it's better than that, like they said it was progressing. But one of these days I'll take you on the low route out here. I don't think it's going to work today just because the the mountains through these areas is pretty low. I mean, they're only around 3,000 feet. But I don't think that I can get underneath of them today. So my minimum safe for this leg here is 5,500. So I'm just going to go up to 5,000 for now. Just leveling off to 5,000 feet now, about another 80 feet to go. My airspeed's already up over 130, and that's what I cruise at. So I'm just going to bring my power lever here back so that my torque settles in at 1,250 foot-pound of torque. And then I'm just going to verify that my fuel flow is below 120. So 5,000 feet is really kind of the mark where instead of flying by our fuel flow, we start flying by our torque. And if you're not sure what that means, is basically we do all of our flight planning with our fuel flow of at least 320 and not over that. So I'm right now at 5,000 feet and my fuel flow is at 315. Actually, let me bump my torque back up to 1250. So my fuel flow is really right at, really close to 320 at 250 foot-pound of torque. Between 5,000 and I think around, it's really more like 12,000 feet, we're going to fly by our torque at 1250, and then over 12,000 feet, we're going to fly by our ITT of limited at 700. Alright, so finally our GPS has actually picked up my location. We left out of here at Hoskins, up here, and we're heading on down here to Gasmata. So the clouds, they look like they're a little bit lower over here, and they look a little bit higher over here. So I might come in this way and go out there. Or what I might do is just head all the way to Gasmata, look down over top of it, and then see if I need to either make a descent over the ocean or what I want to do. We're only 10 minutes out now for Gasmata, so I'm going to go ahead and go over the strip chart here. It's right on the ocean. Runway 27, you actually land right over the ocean. Right onto the end of the runway, goes right to the edge, which is pretty cool. But more than likely, because the winds have been coming really more from the east lately, we'll be landing on runway 09er. I'm coming in from the north. I'm going to be entering into a left downwind for runway 09er. Super long, it's 830 meters. Right now, it's really skinny. They haven't been cutting it, they've just been moving in the cones further and further, so we talked about it 2 days ago. I'm going to talk to them again today because I have to come back in here next Monday and I really want the grass to be cut and wider just for safety, because the grass is, you know, 1.5 feet tall or something and it's really close to the edge of the runway. Dogs can hide in the grass and you don't see them until you're already on the ground. And pigs or anything else can hide in there, so it's really nice to have a wider area so that it just makes it safer for us in our landings. Put my descent in here. I'm going to hit flight plan, set my altitude for my pattern altitude at 1,000 foot, and then come down to my vertical speed. And I'm just going to put in 1,000 foot per minute, actually 900 foot per minute on here. And that will kind of interpolate to around 950 or 1,000 of actual setting it up. It's always about 50 off. But so we'll set up 900 here. It'll throw a top of descent mark on my screen here, and that will let me know when I can go down. So I'm going to have to at least hold 5,500 feet until I get over top of Gasmata. And once I'm there, I can either descend out over the water like I was saying, or what I can do is put in Candrian, which is another runway down the coast, about, I don't know, probably 45 or 50 miles. And I can get on that track and descend down to 3,100 feet at my lowest. So if I'm still not broke out by then I'd have to go out over the ocean and finish my descent. This is about 10 times better weather than I had 2 days ago. Basically from about 15 miles outside of Hoskins all the way here was just in and out IMC. Heavy rain over there, probably about 1 mile to 1.5 miles off the end of the runway. Rain probably 3 miles off the end of the runway that way. And it had just cleared up over top of the runway, about 1.5 miles, little circle over top of it, and I was able to get down. If you're interested in watching that video, I'll link it above. And yeah, landed, and then probably 30 seconds after I landed, it started pouring again, and that was the departure out of there. Heavy rain over the ocean, into the IMC, and all the way back, so it was at least smooth IMC. I'm thankful for that. Yeah. But nonetheless, it wasn't great weather.
Vertical track.
Alright, that's Betty letting me know that I'm at my top of descent now. I can start my descent, but I really have to stay VFR until I'm over top of Gasmata. We're just 5 minutes out. Let's do our landing checklist. Our selectors are both on, our brakes are good. Our TAWs will leave enabled until I turn off my autopilot. My VREF, or approach speed, it's going to be the exact same, 63 knots. I've already got that set up when we took off. Our lights and inlet, we can throw our landing light on. We'll do our inlet once we get below 140 knots. It looks like it's sort of breaking up out here, so that's good news. All stations, Gasamada 127.1, Kodiak November Tango Zulu, 11 miles to the north, left 5,000 on descent. Circuit time, Gasamada 19er. Alright, autopilot is off. We'll turn off our TAWS, our train awareness system. It's actually looking fairly hopeful so far, which is really great. So the low route definitely would not have worked very well. Looks like the clouds are kind of just sitting on the mountains with maybe 200 or 300 feet maybe underneath of them. Looks like I can see the coast over there, so that's really, really good news. If need be, if I can't get out, I know I can, it looks like the cloud base is, yeah, at least 1,000 feet, so that's really great news. All right, I'm seeing the coast now, so that's so good. I'm so glad because I didn't want to waste my time coming out here, and I really wanted to get these passengers out to Hoskins because I'm heading back to Goroka later today. And I didn't want to just have to leave these guys out here and not be able to get them where they need to get to. It looks like the rain is just sitting out over top of the ocean right now. But everywhere else it looks actually pretty nice. Winds have calmed down as well. I got 13 knots out of the east today. The other day when I came in here, I had about 25 knots up here and 18 knots on landing, so, it's kind of rare for here, unless there's some storms, but, I mean, that little cove right there is how far away the rain was, which is, yeah, maybe a mile. Maybe a mile and a half at most. All stations, Gasamada, November Tango Zulu, entering into a left downwind, runway 09er Gasamada. Worsby 6622 November Tango Zulu in the circuit, Gasamada, cancel SAR. Alright, lights and inlet are done. If we do need to go around, power up 20 degrees, pitch for 73, reset torque 740. Worsby 6622 November Tango Zulu in the circuit, Gasamada, cancel SAR.
November Tango Zulu, Worsby.
Thank you, November Tango Zulu.
November Tango Zulu, second front, canceling SAR.
Affirmative. In the circuit, Gasamada, cancel SAR, November Tango Zulu.
Roger, Worsby, Gasamada, arch terminated.
November Tango Zulu. Alright, prop and harness is done, flaps to go. Alright, slowest we can come in today is 63 knots. For around 73 knots. This airport is, this airstrip is not quite as critical as some, so I'm not as crazy about getting my airspeed just perfect on. We can come in a little bit faster just because it is 800 meters long. All right, there is 500 and full flaps. Checklist complete. 9 knots off of the nose.
$500.
Alright, just slowly slowing down, pitching for my airspeed, power for my altitude, all the way down to 63 knots. Super, super light today, so that's why the airspeed is a lot slower than some other days when I'm full up. Alright, zero wind pretty much now. Okay, we're continuing. Yeah, see what I mean? Definitely need to get the sides cut, get these cones out, give us a little bit more room, increase our safety margins. Anyways, guys, this is Gasmata. There's a really cool Japanese couple like wrecked airplanes just right over there in the brush. I have a video on my Patreon page if you're interested in taking a look at those. They're pretty awesome. One's a bomber, and I think a couple of them are Zeros or something. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed this flight, I always do. So thanks for coming along. I do appreciate it. I put out videos Wednesdays and Saturdays if you are interested in subscribing. Hit that like button if you did enjoy this video. It sure does help my channel grow, and I sure do appreciate it. So thanks, guys, and have a good one. All right, shutting down. We're just going to get our fuel. And it was 670 pounds of fuel. And right at my Hobbs time. Shut off our blowers, all of our lights. That's idle. Cut off. And feather. Right. Thanks again.